Hi, I'm Matt with State of Flex here to give you a review of an unconventional movie. I got this book last year, and it's something that I've been holding off until the start of the new year to do. It is the Everyone's a Critic 52-Week Movie Challenge. You can get this on Amazon. I'll try to drop a link in the description below so you can pick up one yourself, and I challenge you to try and do this as well. It's kind of fun. So week one, the challenge was a film that won Best Picture. And the cool thing with this whole book is it gives you what the challenge is, as well as a bunch of questions. I've chosen not to read any of the questions, so I'm going to be delivering this entirely blind. First challenge was a film that has won Best Picture. Now, originally I wanted to do with the very first Best Picture winner, which was the 1927 film Wings. However, that one had a bit of a cost to rent, and I was like, I don't want to drop any money on this right at the moment, so let me just pick a couple. So after looking at about 4 or 5 different movies and finding everything is just a rental, none of them were streaming, I was like, screw this, I'll just watch what last year's Best Picture winner was. Last year's Best Picture winner was the film Nomadland. So, even though I talked about that a little bit in my Oscar roundup from last year, I never talked specifically about my feelings for the movie. So, I rewatched the movie and decided that this will be a perfect opportunity to do so. So, up first we have the movie title is Nomadland. Year released, it was actually February of 2021. I believe it had a planned release of December of 2020, but because the pandemic hit hardest around holiday time, it got pushed for a wide release in theaters that chose to play it in February, right before Oscars came out. So technically, even though it won Best Picture of the year 2020, it actually came out in 2021. Aspect ratio is 2.39, 2.39:1. I don't know why they care about that. Runtime, it's an hour and 48 minutes. Its genre is drama, rated R for language and nudity, and starring basically just Frances McDermott. Directed by Chloe Zhao, who later this past year went on to make The Eternals. Written by her as well, produced by Searchlight. This was originally made in 2018 under Fox Searchlight banner, but with the acquisition that Disney had of Fox, they stripped the Fox name off of it and released it just under their brand new title, so this is the first movie by Searchlight Pictures. Composer is Ludovico Einaudi? I probably ruined that name. And the awards received were Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Director. Alright, now to the questions. First question, why did I choose this particular film? I just kind of went over that. I couldn't find a better option, so I just decided, what was last year's winner? Let's talk about that one. Have I seen this movie before? I did see it last year. I chose to watch it on Hulu, where you can watch it as well. Streaming, I didn't get a chance to see it while it was playing in the theaters. Would you recommend this film? I would. It isn't a movie for everyone. It's definitely a slow film, but I definitely recommend this movie. The thing that is appealing to it is I think it captured what 2020 was very well, which is you were kind of forced to be a nomad on your own. You left your place of work and you got to spend way more time than you had ever had in the past in your home. For her home is this van. For everybody else, it was their house or whatever. But they learned to live life for a long period of 2020 without any conventional means of their existence prior. And I think that is probably ultimately why this movie did go on to win Best Picture. It tapped into something at the exact right cultural moment. However, I recognize that this movie, it has no real plot. It has no real story. It's just sort of like it's not even really a slice of life movie. It's just kind of an existence movie. You're just existing with this person entirely through her eyes. She's in every single scene, the Fern character that Frances McDermott plays, throughout the entire runtime. And there's something kind of interesting about the movie, even though it's not like a movie in that it like moves. It's a very slow paced, let's just try to live through this kind of movie. So, moving on, which character are you most able to identify with or connect with? None, I guess. I guess loosely Fern, just because she's the only real character, but everybody else you meet are just people she meets along the way. I wouldn't say I really identified with virtually anybody in the film. The character I liked the most, I don't remember what her name was, but it was the woman who had the cancer that had spread into her brain, and she decided that rather than continuing to spend time in hospitals and stuff, she was just going to ride out the rest of her life like a nomad, just roaming the earth as long as she could, and being very like giving with her property and stuff. She was the most compelling moment of the movie for me, and I really liked her. There's a somberness and a melancholiness throughout the entire film, but that kind of like elevates the people that you do spend time with. You really do get to understand these people that are essentially afterthoughts of our everyday life. Alright, so best line or memorable quote? I don't know that this really had one for me. I guess in the beginning of the movie, Fern is at, I want to say it's a Walmart, and runs into a family that is looking out for her, and she has the discussion with the young girl who's probably 16 or something, and who's like, my mom says you're homeless, and she's like, I'm fine, I'm going to be fine, you don't need to worry about me. Just the sincerity behind that, and the slight look of worry that Fern has stuck with me, and that was in the first like 15 minutes of the movie. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? I guess I wasn't surprised by the ending. The movie just kind of stops. It doesn't really have like a traditional ending. And I don't know that this movie needed one, so I guess I wouldn't change that. You're just spending time with this person for as long as was necessary narratively. And she's gonna live on and stuff, still roaming the earth. I don't know that I would have changed that. This isn't about a person's quest from van life to a house or anything like that. This is a person like giving you insight of what it likes to just be like a modern day pioneer. Have you watched any of the other Best Picture nominees? Yeah, I watched all the movies that were nominated last year. I watched Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Minari, Judas and the Black Messiah. What were the other nominees? The Trial of Chicago 7. I watched them. So yes, I did. Do you feel this film deserved the award? Well, that's a loaded question. I understand why this movie won the award. I think I touched on that a little bit earlier. I don't think it was the best picture of last year, but I understand why the people with the Academy probably related to it. They, within the Academy, they tend to respond well to being exposed to something that they had never really given thought to before. You've seen that in some prior Best Picture winners. And I think that this movie is a really good one in sort of showcasing those in the U.S. who do, they're not necessarily homeless because they live in their vehicle, but they just kind of roam the earth and stuff like that, and we tend to look down on them as a society, and I think this film sort of authenticates their existence in a positive way, or at least gets you to not look at them negatively. And I think that is something that was probably somewhat inspiring to the Academy voters. I think that the fact that it's surrounding a like person who's a little on the older side also is something that the Academy is not known for their contemporary ideals necessarily. However, I don't know that I would have chosen it as Best Picture. I think you have two films that were exceptionally better than this movie in almost every way, and that is Promising Young Woman, which I think had one of the best screenplays of the past 25 years, if not the best screenplay of the past 25 years. And that one had excellent visual language, it had beautiful score, great performances from pretty much everybody. That would have been my pick for a narrative-driven feature. Or you had Sound of Metal, which is the perfect experiential film. That's a movie that immerses you in a soundscape, and you really just dive deep into this character study of a rock musician who's lost his hearing and has to learn to compensate in other ways and live life. And that movie thrusts you into his experience so vividly that it's the closest movie that I can think of that had such a visceral response from me physically would have been like Gravity, which came out like 8 years prior to that. So I think both of those films deserve the Best Picture win over this one, but I'm not disappointed that Nomadland won. It is a good movie, very beautifully shot. Kind of surprised it didn't take home the cinematography, unless I misread the awards wrong. But that movie is stunning to look at. So yeah, that rounds out my questions. Have you guys seen Nomadland? I recommend that you do. I give it a very, very strong 3 out of 4 stars. It is a very, very good movie, and one that I would recommend. Next week's movie challenge, just to give you a tease, is challenge number 2, a movie classic. If you have an opinion of what classic film I should address next week, drop down in the comments below, and I might pick that one. We shall see. Maybe I'll create a poll online for you guys to vote on. But again, this book is the Everyone's a Critic 52-week movie challenge. I urge you to pick this book up. It's pretty cool. Yeah, take this journey along with me. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, ding the bell, all that good stuff. And peace.